this one, we are going to be featuring Leonardo Bonanomi going up against Go Hirabara.
So Leonardo, for anyone who was watching through competitive VGC in the online era of Sword and Shield, one of the best players in the Players' Cup, multiple top cuts for Leonardo there, and the European contingent in general was fantastic during the Players' Cup era. So Leonardo is going to be a major threat in this tournament today, a day 2 player out of Europe from the from the European side, I should say. I wonder how he was feeling. We've already seen another European player in Thomas do really well on stream, so he wants to keep that consistency up. Remember, we are in Europe, we're in London right now, so this is their home. This is their home World Championships, their region's World Championships. Still have to travel, but a lot less of a travel than getting to North America. And I think from looking at these two trainers, it should be a fun match because there is a mix, somewhat, a change at least in one of the restricted pairings.
Yeah, and over on Hirabara's side, this would be the crowning achievement. Already making it, like, there is this day 2 placement, but in past, it's been 2021 Japan Cup Best Top 8 and Rank Battle 3rd rank. So this is it. Here at the Pokemon World Championships, now on stage to make this impact. And I'm loving the team that he's going for this. The Rotom Heat is a Pokemon that I feel like we've seen so much in the past, and it's been kind of outclassed by a lot of Pokemon now that we have this restricted. But it's still such a strong special attacker. It can be such a pain to deal with, and pairing up with a couple of Pokemon that we also don't see as often with that Yveltal will be amazing.
Rotom Heat's maybe the most popular Pokemon you want to put on your team, and you just feel like you don't have enough room for it. So I'm really excited to find out how Go was able to implement Rotom Heat onto this squad and if it works out for them.
But it's time to head into the match. It will be the Yveltal instead, though, to start. Going up against, with the Regieleki, going up against Kyogre and Zacian. Very strong leads from both trainers.
And here is another Yveltal like we saw at the end of day 1. It's a restricted Pokemon that seems like it has not found its footing in VGC Series 12 this season. So in this slot, it doesn't look like it's necessarily too great into either of these restricteds on Leonardo's side there. If it is Assault Vest, which is a very commonly held item for Yveltal, you're not too concerned about the Water Spout. It'll still be very strong, but I don't believe it would be a one-hit KO thanks to the Assault Vest. So that's something Leonardo's gonna have to find out through the set, is what is this Regieleki? Is it the light screen set where it's really frustrating to deal with, an Electro Web and just trying to be a nuisance, or is it all-out damage with Life Orb or Magnet trying to knock you out? And what is that Yveltal held on? We got to find out. Is it Black Glasses, Assault Vest? That's what Leonardo really needs to fish for, that information these first couple turns.
Yeah, especially since the Regieleki and the Yveltal can have quite a few different looks. A great way to just find out is to apply that early pressure going into this, and that's going to be the Dynamax Kyogre with the powerful moves, especially making sure it can survive some hits. It will be the Reflect from the Regieleki, going for a bit more of a passive approach to make sure that the physical attacks are going to be eliminated, especially that Play Rough hitting so hard into the Yveltal. Thanks to the Reflect, will survive though, and allowing to fire off a Snarl in retaliation. Of course, this is going to be great for lowering the special attack coming out from this Kyogre next. It will be the Hailstorm to just go into, actually, it could have finished off Yveltal instead though, targeting into Regieleki, bringing it way down, but because of the hail, should be able to finish it off.
Even with the Snarl, it still brings Regieleki so low on that turn where the hail is going to be able to knock it out. So that just shows how frail Regieleki is in as a Pokemon there. It's going to be a hit. It's not going to be enough for the Yveltal there. We saw, actually, it looks like, depending on how the HP works, that next turn Yveltal would be knocked out from the hail if Yveltal does not go for an Oblivion Wing to recover some HP. But I think if you are Go, you're kind of okay with the Yveltal just clicking Snarl, really hindering the damage that the Kyogre can provide. Leonardo does not want to switch it out as it just uses Dynamax, so you don't want to waste those 3 turns. So you're going to have to kind of suffer through having your lowered special attack on the Kyogre. But because the Zacian is still, relatively healthy on Leonardo's side, it could be good. Now we have to worry about the speed ties, right? But when you see 2 Zacians on the field, it's one more offensively trained and, attacking speed, does something have more, defense and not really investing to be as fast. That's a thing that Leonardo is maybe worried about on this turn, and that's why he switches it out.
Yeah, instead bringing in the Incineroar, you don't have to worry about the speed ties, and it's a great time to get an Intimidate off on that Zacian to make sure, even if the speed tie was something to be lost, you're not going to be hitting me as hard anyways. Not the only person that's going to be pivoting, though. That Yveltal is not going to be sticking around on the field, and the Gastrodon from the back is going to be coming in. Normally fantastic against these Kyogres. A passive return all around as the Zacian goes for this Protect as another round of Max Hailstorm is coming out. Hitting into this Gastrodon slot, dealing a good chunk of damage, all things considered, since it is a Gastrodon.
Right, and it does more damage than what Max Geyser would have, right? Because it would have just went, it would have just went into the Storm Drain. So a very safe play for Leonardo, paying off for him there, because if you go for the Max Hailstorm, you always have to worry. When you see that little sea slug in the background, in the back of the team preview, you have to worry about it switching in on a Kyogre, and especially when you are Dynamax, you don't have Water Spout, you don't have Origin Pulse, you only have single target moves, so that Storm Drain would be such a problem for it. The Max Hailstorm is a neutral attack, but if you think about it, if you're able to waste Kyogre's 3 turns by clicking Max Hailstorm or forcing it to click Max Hailstorm the entire time, that's somewhat of a win for Go. You're not letting it use as much damage or get as much damage off on the Kyogre as you want. And then you haven't even used your Dynamax yet at this point. So I wonder, it's got to come down to the Gastrodon, because Zacian can't do it and Yveltal has 14 HP.
Well, Zacian on the other end is going to be swapping out, bringing Yveltal back in its place. Yveltal definitely not the healthiest thing around, considering how much damage it took earlier on, but the swap on the other slot, this means we are going to see the Dynamax Gastrodon coming out. We're about to get the big slug.
It's the best thing you can do, and if you max Quake 3 times, no matter, the Kyogre already has a Snarl decreasing its special attack, it would be doing even less damage if that's what Gastrodon wants to opt for.
There's something so wonderful about seeing a Dynamax Gastrodon out on the field. Max Lightning into the Yveltal. It only needed a little bit of damage and super effective hit. It is going to be eliminated, but keeping other Pokemon safe. At this point, Hirabara is down to his final 2 Pokemon.
And if Leonardo was worried about a yawn from the Gastrodon, that's what the Max Lightning is able to get rid of that option on Go's side.
Really nice though, Gastrodon. We're not going to see yawns for a hot second. We're not going to see the most damage either, as a parting shot coming out to lower that special attack. And instead of we're going to be swapping out in place of the Rillaboom, a great counter into the Gastrodon.
And this is a really scary spot for the Gastrodon to be in. You don't want to be Dynamax in front of a Rillaboom who has access to priority moves, making it faster than anything else. Even Zacian would be faster, typically not with Grassy Glide up.
Definitely not. Look at the damage that hit into. It did nothing. It did basically nothing. The Hail Chip would have been doing more at this point.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So now the Kyogre's 3 turns of Dynamax are over. What value did it provide? It got rid of the Regieleki thanks to its hit and then the knockout from the Hail, and now Go is down to his final 2 Pokemon. So even considering that the Snarl hindered its damage, that's still a pretty solid Dynamax for Leonardo on the in this game, I should say. So you'll take that. You have the 4-2 Pokemon advantage. You have a Gastrodon who can essentially never attack, because once you don't protect in front of Rillaboom, you just have to eat a Grassy Glide. So that's a really precarious position for Go to be in right now. But you want to attack because Gastrodon is your Dynamax in this game, and that's your best chance of doing a lot of damage. Even the Kyogre's been out here for like 4 or 5 turns so far, and it's hardly taken any damage at all. So I think Leonardo's just in a really strong spot.
Yeah, you were worried about the mileage that Kyogre was going to be getting with that Dynamax, but the Max Hailstorm, even if it isn't the Max Geyser coming out, it does still provide a lot of damage considering how strong, especially that this Kyogre is. So it's still got enough impact to bring Leonardo into this game state. That Kyogre is going to be swapping out though, bringing the Incineroar back in. Since it is the final 2 Pokemon on Go's side, this means that the Intimidate sticking on the Zacian are going to stick. No Protect from the Gastrodon means it is going to be eliminated, and now it's Zacian against the world.
Yeah, 4-1 Pokemon count is not the position that Go wants to be in, and Behemoth Blade only being a neutral attack into the Rillaboom is not going to be enough, most likely, I don't think, to knock it out. Yeah, just barely hangs on.
Yeah, the Intimidate's really making an impact at this point. So sure, you're going to get a lot of damage on the Rillaboom, but now the Incineroar's out. You have the Fake Out. Even if you played, there's nothing here.
Yeah, you got four Pokemon. Leonardo also has his own Zacian in the back. The only thing you would have to worry about is Leonardo did take some chip damage on his Zacian there, so depending on how that speed tie works out, or whoever is faster, it actually might be enough for Go to knock it out. But on this turn, you do have the threat of Fake Out and in Grassy Glide or whatever attack Rillaboom wants to go for. So whenever the Incineroar is allowed to attack, it's going to be able to click Flare Blitz into the Zacian there for a lot of damage. And you might even just save Kyogre later because you don't want the rain up to hinder or to lower the amount of damage that Flare Blitz does from your Incineroar.
Yeah, because that Flare Blitz is definitely a great option to make sure this Zacian is just completely dealt with. Gonna play it out and go for that Protect, try and see how much damage can be done up against these 4 Pokemon. The Fake Out, of course, you have to hit it into the slot just to assure. As the high horsepower from Rillaboom, at this point you're perfectly pinned. Both of these Pokemon are going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing the Zacian can do here because now you can click Flare Blitz, high horsepower. The Protect was the best place so you don't get hit by Fake Out, so you don't take that damage for free. But because of the grassy terrain, Rillaboom's actually able to recover what it would have been losing earlier with the hail when it was up. But Incineroar full HP, Zacian really healthy, Kyogre still over 50%. It's gonna be this Sacred Sword's not even enough to knock out in one hit either. So it's wrapped up for Leonardo.
Yeah, at this point, you're just getting a little bit of extra information, how much these Pokemon are going to do to you. Try and make sure you have that extra time to think about how you want to be adjusting going into this game too, because when you're stuck in that position where this Dynamax Gastrodon is that option and it's not offering any value, you know there has to be some sort of big switch up heading to the next match.
Yeah, and I think about one of the benefits that Go did get at the end of that game by playing it out instead of just forfeiting was the